Thank you very much. I'm Maria, and I'm an activist against hate speech. And I want to thank everyone for being here and listening to me sharing my story and my experience so far. I'm very happy and feel privileged that I have the chance to speak here, especially on this very important day, the International Human Rights Day. As we all know, the Universal Declaration for Human Rights says that all people are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Unfortunately, on this day, we remember all the efforts that have been done and all of the changes that have been done so far, but in the same time, we remember all of the challenges that we are facing that prevent all people to be equal and free in dignity and rights. One of those things is hate speech, and hate speech is very bad and it can be damaging to people's lives, to people's destiny, to people's rights, and it's very damaging to human rights as well. So today I will briefly try to share my story, and hopefully someone else will join this very important fight against hate speech. 7 years ago, I was very young and I started to work for an NGO called the Ohrid Institute, and I didn't know very much about hate speech, but what I did know was that I was always against speech that incites violence and hate and intolerance to other people. So I started working on a program called Youth Political Dialogue, which aimed to raise the level of dialogue among young people, to promote tolerance, to promote acceptance, and to promote at least exchange of opinions without offending and hateful rhetoric towards other people. And then one day I was sitting with Zorica Stamenkovska, who was the coordinator of the No Hate Speech movement in Macedonia, and we were talking about our jobs, and she said, you know what, there is a new campaign in Macedonia launching. It's about, it's against hate speech, it's about promoting positive thinking, it's about combating hate speech, especially among young people. And I said, really, wow, and I intuitively knew that something was good and this is something that I want to do. And I said, can we join? How can we join? What should we do? How can we do? And immediately I joined, and that's how I joined the movement. And at first I was really inexperienced. I didn't know what to do, what kind of activities should I employ. And I started reading, I started researching about all of the tools that exist and how other people are combating and handling this issue. And I started applying everywhere, and I started going to the meetings of Council of Europe regarding the No Hate Speech movement, and there I meet so many people and so many inspiring people that I've learned from their experience, I've heard what they have to say, and I tried to get as much as possible so I can continue that fight at home. And that's how, little by little, step by step, I started, with my organization, we started doing educational activities with young people, especially young people that are active in political parties, because they will be the future leaders. So we decided to make educational activities, to use all of the tools that were available, like the bookmarks and manuals that were aimed at combating hate speech. And we started talking to people as well, to young people. We started asking them, do you know what hate speech is? Do you know what should be done? Can you recognize hate speech? It was very interesting that 5 years ago in Macedonia especially, nobody knew what hate speech was. And it was very interesting that young people often said, well, yes, sure, I've seen some bad comments and, you know, promoting violence, but you know, that's only on the internet, that doesn't exist. And it's funny because we spent 9 hours of our day scrolling through our feeds, so it's not only just there, it's here and now, and we have to act on it. So little by little, by reaching out to people and trying to get to listen the story and how hate speech can damage people's lives, we managed to reach out to people and to reach out at least to make them think about how hurtful hate speech can be. And after a while, we see that young people actually wanted more. They wanted to be involved more. They wanted to talk or to share their experience. There's so many young people hungry to share their experience because they faced this problem very often, but they didn't know how to react, where to respond, or they thought that nobody's going to listen to them. And after a while, when we we have this group of young people, especially involved in politics, we decided to go a step further and to raise awareness in the media about this issue. So what we did was we took the leaders of the youth political wings on one table and we made them sign a declaration that they will fight against hate speech and intolerance, and that they're going to fight for their beliefs, but they're going to respect the other person that is standing in front of them, and that they pledged to fight against hate speech. And this was very important because it was the first time that it was done in Macedonia, and a lot of news and media covered this event, and they also promoted the event, and they talked that young people are standing against hate speech. So also what I wanted to say is that these things happened, and it was this gradually over time, and that nothing was gained by night. And it was not always easy, it was not always milk and honey. Sometimes there were a lot of obstacles. For example, when I was inexperienced and young, I tried to self-organize one event about hate speech. Only 4 people showed up. I was very disappointed. I said for 2 days straight I didn't know what to do. And I said, oh my God, I cannot do this, or I'm not capable. But then, after 2 days, I calmed down, I took a deep breath, and I said, my faith in combating hate speech is bigger than my inability to communicate to people. So I will overcome my inability to communicate and to be introvert, and I'm going to continue to fight in what I believe in. So I took a deep breath, did another strategy for communicating my message and spreading the message, and the next event was better. The next event after that was even better. So that's how I started, little by little, by taking little steps and reaching out toward people. Also, what I realized was that people wanted to talk. I always, even if we didn't have an activity connected to hate speech, I would go to people and say, you know, there's a lot of hate speech, you know, it's electoral time, you know, there's a lot of hate speech. Do you encounter hate speech? And at one point I was very boring because people were like, okay, do you have any other topic to talk about? You know, there are other topics about. But however, most of those people, after a while, would send me a screenshot or a link of news and told me, hey, is this hate speech or not? Because we are debating currently. And what was very interesting that, yes, they thought I was boring at first, but after a while, they thought of what we were talking about, and when they saw hate speech or something that resembled hate speech, they thought about it. So this is very important when you're fighting hate speech or when you're fighting of a cause, is to remember how passionate and important it is. And when you're passionate about something, people will listen to you. People like people with passion. And when you have a cause like this, when you're fighting hate speech and promoting human rights, people will want to stand beside you because they believe in your passion and in your enthusiasm to change something. And it's, of course, you cannot change the world in a week, in a month, or even a year. But when you look back and see how much you have achieved so far, you will see as young people that you will be proud of your achievements, and everything else along the line, every obstacle, will look totally insignificant and unimportant. So what I want to say is, here is one of my favorite quotes by Charles Bukowski, who said that you begin saving the world by saving 1% at a time. Everything else is grandiose romanticism or politics. And it is true, because by reaching to every single person that you know, your friend, your neighbor, I don't know, your colleague sitting next to you on classes, you are already making a difference because you're making people think. And if you're lucky, along the way, someone will say, I want to join you as well. And you will all become a part of something greater and a movement of change. This is how change starts, by reaching out to people and talking to them and making them feel your passion, so your passion will become their passion. This was true for me, and along the way I've met so many great people that inspired me and are still inspiring me, and in the No Hate Speech movement was something that really got to me, and I found myself that I've changed the way I think, I've changed the way I approach people, and this was one of the smartest things I've done. And it's very important when you fight hate speech, is to be determined and focused and not to give up. And along the way, you will have to encounter a lot of obstacles, and sometimes people will not want to listen to what you say. But if you truly, truly believe in that, I believe that you will see that you did a little bit, you left this world a little better than it was before, and actually that is the biggest point. Maybe not to change the world, but leave it a little better than it was before. Thank you very much.